Hello everybody and welcome to Águeda in Portugal. It's round 12 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of Portugal. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. All the motos now from here on out for the rest of the day. 2 for MX2 and 2 for the MXGP category. Pretty warm here as well. You'll see from the temperature in a moment how warm it is, but it's certainly the warmest day of the weekend so far. My name is Paul Malin. Alongside me, just as we were a week ago, Jeff Emig. Obviously needs no introduction, but enjoying his time here in Portugal and Europe the last couple of weeks, no doubt. But Jeff Emig, obviously looking forward to it as much as you guys at home. Hopefully we will see the qualifying highlights coming up in just a moment if you missed them yesterday. But Jeff, welcome to Portugal. First time here for you. What do you make of it so far?
Well, it's been amazing. We've had some great racing already. Yesterday qualifying and all that. Pretty cool track, right? They're having to put a lot of water down, and especially like you mentioned today, the heat is up. Yesterday it was windy, drying the track out. Today now we've got the heat, but lots of sun. The fans, this is from earlier in the day as the sun was rising, but this place is packed with fans. And now we're finally to the main races, the races that pay the money, the races that pay the bonuses, that pay the points towards the championship. So ready to get this one going.
One of the hospitality areas there full. But before we go any further, let's take a quick look behind the scenes. Red Bull KTM, Factory Racing, MX2.
It's another challenge, and especially now with 2 different classes for these 3 guys. And we have some updates coming always throughout the season, and yeah, the boys look forward to it, and yeah, they appreciated what we do for them. It never stops in racing. Pauls is very, very precise. If you make an appointment with him, he's always on time, very polite guy. It's a pleasure to work with him.
I'm really happy to be a part of Red Bull KTM Factory Racing team, and you know, it's just like a part of my family. I really feel that I belong in a team, and they put so much effort for every rider, so you don't feel if you're number 2 or number 1 rider, you know. For everyone, they're working hard and doing their best. So yeah, like I said, it's like a family, you know. Like Valentina is like my racing mom, you know. She's taking care of us, and it feels good to have people like that around you.
We have a really good communication between riders and mechanics, people of the team. We have fun together, so I think I can learn a lot from Pauls as Jeffrey and Tony and Glenn. They are really good riders, a lot of experience, so it's really good for me as this is my learning year, and a lot of things happened to me till now, so I also learn from my mistakes.
Jorge, a very stylish rider. He has a lot of talent, but he needs to endure a little bit more, but he's such a young age, so that will come.
It's a bit difficult to combine school and races. I finished last week my exams, so I have 2 months holidays, and now I have more time for motocross, which is good for me, and try to make some good results.
It actually was a pretty big switch from the 250 to the 450. We had to change the riding style a bit. Definitely the 450 has a lot of more torque, a lot of more power, and it's more demanding on your body, so I might have underestimated it a bit. It was a tough step, but I feel like we're getting used to it, and I've been on the 250 for a long, long time, and maybe because of my injuries, you know, we stick to it a little too long, and it was hard to change my riding style. I think our KTM 450 is one of the strongest bikes out there, so that's why I felt like a 350 was a kind of a no-go, especially with my weight. You know, I'm a heavy and tall guy.
Jeffrey is a very strong personality when it comes to his training regimen, and he trains a lot, in our opinion, even a bit too much.
The reason why I stayed in the MX2 team is that I've won 3 World Championships for them, for this current team, and I love being with this team, with those people. I've been with them for a long time, and everybody knows the situation that me and Tony, we're both going to race for a championship. Obviously, racing is racing, and for sure, if I'll have a little secret, then I don't want to tell it, and I think it's maybe the same on their side, but that's racing, of course, you know. But it's fun, but it's hard to put two riders who want to go for the same goal in the same team, you know. It's very tough to win this championship, but next year we go for it, and even this year we make the best of the situation while it's still possible.
Well, that was behind the scenes look at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, MX2. But the riders out on track on their sighting lap, and obviously a short while ago, Lisa Leyland caught up with a couple of riders down on the grid. Got a good crowd here today. One of them, the injured Suzuki World MX2 rider, Hunter Lawrence. But first, Jorge Prado.
Hello and welcome to the start line here at Águeda, Portugal. Before we kick things off, I want to have a chat, as usual, to a couple of the guys. The first one being Jorge Prado. Firstly, I just want to find out how it went in Otoboyano. Jorge? Firstly, let's just talk about last round, probably a round you want to forget. You couldn't start the second moto, could you, due to overheating, exhaustion? Just tell us how tough that was and also how you're feeling now a week on.
Yeah, actually the track was pretty rough, so physical was, yeah, rough. So, yeah, I just did my best. In one point, I just, yeah, couldn't ride anymore. So, yeah, also couldn't start second moto. A bit disappointed, but I think we will try to do good this weekend and try to get some points and try to enjoy. Also, the crowd here, it's awesome. So, let's enjoy the race.
And also, what happened yesterday in qualifying? Because it was a tough one as well. You were down in 21st position.
Yeah, actually the start was not too bad, but then I came in the second corner, a small crash, had to come from last till 13, 12. Yeah. So it was okay, just struggled a bit in the middle with some passing, but I will try to do a better start today and some good riding.
Best of luck. Thanks for that, Jorge. Okay, the next rider I want to speak to is Team Suzuki World MX2 rider Hunter Lawrence. We last saw him in Russia, solid 6th position, but then he compressed his vertebrae, didn't you, after Russia? But you're back, but you're not back, are you? So you're here on the start line, but you're not racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a bummer to not be racing, but it's still cool to experience MXGPs, you know, coming from Australia. The MXGPs are so much bigger and stuff, so I love to come here and watch the racing, and I can still learn, you know, so it's cool.
So when can we expect you back then? Because I know you were planning on coming back here, weren't you?
Yeah, I was feeling ready to come back, but we got some scans, and yeah, we're not ready yet, so we're aiming for Lockett to be back fit and strong for Lockett, so we'll work towards that, and yeah, hopefully we can make it.
Okay. Good luck. Thanks for that, Hunter. Enjoy it. All right, it's time for MX2 Race 1.
Uma e 4 da tarde, estamos a 10 minutos para o início da Campeonato MX2, volta de trás.
Here's how the championship looks then in MX2. Paul Jonas, he's on 4.54, 38 points behind him is Jeremy Siwa. And then we've got Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Julian Lieber and Benoit Paturel. Last time out, Thomas Covington moved up a position after getting himself on the podium in Italy at Lombardia. Prado lost a place. Bogas also moved up. No Hunter Lawrence last week or this week. Just heard from him on the pre-grid a moment ago. I'm sure we'll see him back at Lockett in the Czech Republic. But great crowd here, Jeff. And before we get into the whole kind of race, this is what happened in the MX2 qualifying race yesterday. And yeah, there's one or two little moments. Gate dropped here, and it was number 41 over on the far side, Paul Jonas, who grabbed the whole shot, but it was his teammate who fell going into turn 2. Might just see that here.
Yeah, watch this right here. Prado goes down, just kind of loses the front end there. I'm not sure if he got a little help on the outside, but also Herbito went down there in the second turn also. He'd be 15th by the end.
On board here with Jeremy Siwa giving chase to Bogas and Lieber. So he was placed about 5th early on as Bogas just asked a bit too much of the rear wheel on that HSF Motorsport KTM. But Covington wasting no time pushing the number 41, the Latvian, Paul Jonas.
Yeah, they just went after it. Both of these riders obviously have been riding with a lot of confidence. Here's Paturel going down after a really horrible start for him, and then has this big mistake where he's trapped under the Yamaha, but he would remount and unfortunately only finished 23rd.
Yeah, so he's going to be down the right-hand side on the grid into a very tight left-hand turn. Siwa tried to park it down the inside of Bogas, eventually wasn't able to get a position though from the Dutchman.
Now watch this move here. Covington gets to the inside of Jonas, They almost come together there. Jonas almost has a chance to get it back, but he was off there in the wet stuff. And Covington, super aggressive, really confident. Rockstar Husqvarna rider was just unstoppable.
Yeah, and that was on lap 3 of 12. So really laying down his marker early, Thomas Covington.
Watch this move.
Boger's got up the inside of Lieber. That took the Belgian down from 3rd. He remounted in 6th. That's where he would stay on the LRT KTM. But Jeremy Seewer would only come home in 5th on his Suzuki World MX2 machine. Just lost the toe.
And with the start that he had, he's got his GoPro on top here. This is pretty much what his goggles would have liked for most of this race, as he was just back there getting roosted the whole time, and he would end up 5th.
Had that battle with Thomas Kjær Olsen. It was Thomas Kjær Olsen who passed him sort of just before the halfway point and wasn't able to respond. So Sunday is race day, as they say, and Jeremy Seewer will be looking to get a great start and make it happen when the points count. Further down the order, Ika Larinaga, Ben Watson and Henry Jacobi also in a battle there with the Venezuelan Anthony Rodriguez on the HRC MX2 machine.
Yeah, and what a great battle Watson and Rodriguez had right here. Rodriguez on a 2-race sort of trial run with HRC Honda and had a horrible week last week after a crash in qualifying. But him and Ben Watson, watch this right here, Watson goes back by. Rodriguez, though, would end up 9th. Watson would end up 8th just in front of him in a great trial run for Anthony Rodriguez on that HRC Honda.
Yeah, looking for a possible return in Lockett in the Czech Republic in a couple of weeks, the next round. But it was Thomas Covington for the 3rd time in 2017 who won the qualifying race. He does it here in Portugal. So Covington will go to the line first then for the 3rd time this year, and then we've got Paul Jonas goes to the line 2nd on his Red Bull KTM, Bogus 3rd. Thomas Kjær Olsen 4th, so 2 Rockstar Energy Huskies in there, 1st and 4th. Be interesting to see what he can do, the former Grand Prix winner.
That's one way to keep your head cool right there. Kind of had a Greek sort of thing going on there, hey?
So Thomas Covington hasn't gone, oh yeah, Thomas Covington has gone to the first gate up the inside. So Covington, Jonas, Bogus, Kjær Olsen, Seewer, Lieber, Watson 7th, Rodriguez 8th, 9th for Osland, good ride for him, and 10th for Henry Jacobi.
Yeah, and as you look at the lineup list, this is from the qualifying race yesterday. Earlier today in warm-up, though, Covington was once again your fastest rider at a 153.1. His teammate Thomas Kjær Olsen was 2nd. Seewer, Jonas, Bogers round out your top 5. But that was earlier today in morning warm-up.
And incidentally, the fastest lap in the qualifying race yesterday was set by Thomas Covington, a 152.089. So what was fastest, the qualifying race?
153.1 was this morning. Track was a little bit more wet. Yesterday the track was pretty flat, I should say, like not too muddy in spots, and really had a fast pace to it. Covington, of course, he's won before. Mexico earlier this year. That would have been round 4. Won with a 4-1, and he seems to be riding high on his confidence and working with Jackie Martins and the team there at Rockstar Husqvarna. But Paul Jonas in the Red Bull KTM won the 2nd moto last week, went 6-1 last week. Of course, he's got the most wins. He's your points leaders, all of that. He's the guy to beat, but it's a couple of guys like Brian Bogers and Covington which are really coming on strong.
Yeah, for Paul Jonas, he's led 55.5% of the laps, 205, and everybody else in that respect, 369 laps raced so far in MX2. Jonas has led 205 of them. Everybody else that's led laps, Seewer, Thomas Kjær Olsen, Thomas Covington, Jorge Prado, Benoit Paturel, Brian Bogers and David Puches have led 164 laps between them. So it's quite a substantial lead rate. But
he knows Paturel is way on our left, rider's right, kind of right in front of where the flagger is right there. So the Yamaha rider Paturel, who's been really strong lately, he's got his work cut out for him.
He is, but he's going to be banking on a sweep around the outside as everybody else hits the brakes to make that tighter than usual left-hand turn. Before it was a 90-degree turn up and over the step. Now it swings back on itself, not quite 180 degrees. 30 minutes plus 2. MX2 race 1. It's round 12 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. And up the inside, it's Covington. And it's between him and I think Watson as they cross the Foxhole shot line. Or was it Jonas, sorry.
Prado went on the outside. Jonas was on the inside. So Prado, who...
but it's Covington who leads.
Covington leading.
So Covington from his teammate Thomas Kjær-Olsen, and then it's Jonas Prado there in third, Bogus fourth. Then we've got, I think, Watson in there and possibly Julian Lieber. So let's have a look. No, it's the Red Bull KTM of Jonas up the inside.
I mean, the Husqvarna KTM dominance here in the opening part of this 250 MX2 class. There, finally, we see Seawer, I believe, on the Suzuki. First Japanese model that comes through the pack there.
Up front, though, Prado given a serious challenge.
This track is already so difficult. Look at Covington getting through those rollers, just nice, easy. You know, it's pretty fast at times if you want to skim the tops of the rollers, but it takes a lot of energy. And the way that Covington just went through there, where he was doubling them, you can actually rest and save a lot of energy, keeping a pretty good pace. Who's that in third? They just came up way short on the step up there. That'd be
might be Jonas.
Probably Prado or Jonas, yeah.
Well, Prado second, Jonas third, Bogus fourth, Thomas Kjær-Olsen is fifth. Seawer in about seventh place, looking to make a move on Julian Lieber down past pit lane. And has he found his way through? No, the LRT number 33 is there, closest to the camera. It makes a mistake, and Seawer does go through into sixth place. So it's Covington who leads, Prado second, Jonas third, Bogus is fourth at the top of the hill. Then behind him, it's Thomas Kjær-Olsen, Seawer, Lieber, Van der Vlist, and Chervelin with Rodriguez. So the two HRC Hondas are in 9th and 10th. Watson 11, Alvin Austin 12. Then we have Larinaga, Herberto, Van Donnick, Jacobi, Tropepi, Pacharel, 18th.
Watch this move here. Jonas just squares up his teammate, goes by on the inside. That was a nice pass, going to put him into second. Now, see if Jonas can get a bit of a surge right here and try to close the gap on Covington, something he wasn't able to do yesterday in the qualifying race.
Yeah, lots of choice of lines out on the racetrack, starting to cut out now. It's quite a hard base to it as the back end just pitches up on the 61 Red Bull KTM, and Prado there, he's in third position, but it's hard and slick. It's loose in places, Jeff. Rutty as well. Bit of a kick there from Jonas as he hit that little double up into this, coming out of this new loop. This is where they rejoin the old circuit, dropping downhill.
Yeah, now let's see if we can, well, we're going to stay here on our Bogers, who's fourth. Kjær-Olsen's dropped back after that second place start. Things started happening pretty quick for him. See how Jonas really doubling through there clean. That makes a big difference. You do that, what this race is probably going to be about 12 laps, 13 laps.
I think the qualifying race yesterday was 12, wasn't it? And it's another 10 minutes, so we're going to have maybe another 5 laps, something like that, 5 or 6 laps.
You do that 15, 16 times. Just point that out. I know with my own riding technique, trying to be efficient with my energy, right, and not use a lot of strength, trying to do things easy.
Yeah, Lieber making a mistake at the top of the straight, and Thomas Kjær-Olsen down this end.
Slips up a little bit. Yeah, but just trying to ride in a way that you're going to conserve energy, right, is so important, especially when you get late in the motos.
Choppy as they head uphill, always got choppy there. They've made this a little bit more bold turn and higher on the one side there, dropping down. Everybody seeming to favor that line at the moment because the inside is just a little bit wet, still waiting for it to dry out. But there's Jeremy Seawer chasing down the number 19 of Thomas Kjær-Olsen as they battle over 5th place.
And look just behind them, you're going to see behind Seawer, you're going to see Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has found his way past Lieber.
Yeah, oh, there he is, yeah.
Or in fact, he might just go back.
It's back again, yeah.
So those two backwards and forwards.
Yeah, but Rodriguez there from Venezuela up to 8th again, really showing what his true potential is.
Seawer looking for a way through.
He's got a clean line. He can get the drive.
Wow, these two were at it yesterday, and Thomas Kjær-Olsen tries to muscle his big elbows out into the face of Seawer.
See if he can. He chooses to go wide. Oh, Kjær-Olsen scrubs out. He may go around the outside.
Nah,
so he's going to push him wide.
Yeah, Marshall's the sent sprawling there as they get in on the action as well, but short on the tabletop as he looks to cut back to the inside here. Thomas Kjær-Olsen in wide.
This outside's pretty good. If you can get a run through the rollers, you can usually carry just a little more momentum.
Doubles nicely towards the end. That's going to give him vital feet and inches at the end of the straight, but Seawer just doing enough to stay there on that Suzuki. Got his hands full with the big Dane there, the former Grand Prix winner, who's third in points at the moment. He's just had the one visit to the podium. He made it count. That was a win in Latvia. Hasn't been near the podium since, though, the last 4 rounds. Thomas Kjær-Olsen. So, you know, that third place is okay for him in the points chase, but can't afford to relax because Julian Lieber is only, what, sort of 7 points down on him. So he's in danger of losing third if he's not careful here this weekend. Right, 2 laps
battle,
complete.
though. Sorry, Paul?
No, go.
So, CC were really applying the pressure. Back tire skips out on him just a little bit right there, but he instantly gapped Kjær-Olsen and is right on Brian Bogers again, just closing up really quickly.
Just looking, yeah, I was going to say, looking down the leaderboard, Pat Jarrell after that horrendous start, basically because of his fall in the qualifying race yesterday, put him over on the right-hand side. He is now up to 12th place for Kamir Yamaha. He's got 2 guys immediately ahead of him, Van der Vlist and Ika Larinaga. Larinaga on the Ottobiano Husqvarna, having a good second half of the season. But still got a lot of work to do. Benoit Paturel, 5th in the championship at the moment, and the guys are pulling clear of him in the top 4 standings.
Taking a look at the lap times as this action continues here with Bogers trying to go by Prado. Oh, Prado gets sideways, trying to stay on the throttle on that Red Bull KTM and almost lost it. Almost lost the position, almost lost the rear tire.
Look at Seawer closing in.
So far, so good, but last time around, it was Jonas with a 154.1 was the fastest lap of the race so far, and he was the only rider in the 154 range. Everyone else was a 155 or higher, including Covington, who's got just a small lead.
Look how Seawer has got himself onto the back of these 2 here. He's the 3rd rider in shot, Jeremy Seawer. He's got Bogers in white ahead of him, and Prado.
Oh, this don't look good for Prado.
Well, gets passed there by Bogers. Gonna get it run to the inside, but Prado, 10 out of 10 for getting his little sparrow arms out of there. And a mistake for Bogers. How did he save that, Jeff?
Prado's gonna cut him off right here, not close enough. And now he's gonna be in jeopardy as Seawer has been super aggressive through this finish line area. Watch him up this next set of bumps right here. Seawer is carrying a lot of speed. He's going to get... Yeah, he's got him.
Same as he did on his
Prado
teammate
out
yesterday.
The way, unless this inside works for Prado.
See the difference in power there between the Suzuki and the KTM as they get out of that turn 17 or turn 18 into this turn 1, heading back uphill. And Seawer now goes in pursuit of Bogers, the guy ahead of him on the HSF Logistics. Oh, wow. Face full of wet there.
Oh,
you see
he got it, yeah. Just blasted him with that water hole on the middle.
A little bit of gamesmanship there, just kind of mess up the flow a little bit for the young Spaniard. There's the 91 in yellow. Seawer charging down the inside. He's been working this inside, been working for him as well. Whoa! How close? Gonna lose that, though.
This time, Husqvarna rider doesn't give him the room.
So the KTM of Bogers in, where is he, 3rd? The Suzuki, nicely done there from Seawer, from absolutely nowhere, 3 or 4 yards back, or Bikeneck's back. He made it work, and he's now got clear track to go after Jonas and Covington. Fortunately for him, they are around about 7-8 seconds clear at the head of the field and lapping quicker than the Swiss rider at the moment. But with clear track, it'll be interesting to see what Seawer can do now, Jeff.
Yeah, Stefan Everts and everyone at Team Suzuki World MX2 have got to be really happy about what they're seeing right now out of their man Jeremy Seawer. He is on fire now.
Yeah.
So he gets himself into 3rd.
Slight mistake.
Looking like he's probably going to be about 5 seconds behind Jonas, who sets in 2nd.
But look at the purple sectors, sector 2 and 3, working their way down towards the finish line.
So here we're going to see
Covington fastest 2, Jonas in sector 3, personal best for Jonas in the final sector. So that gap's going to come down to 1.9 between Covington and Jonas at 54.6, 54.4. Seawer 55.0.
Yeah, and Seawer is going to have his work cut out for him. He's about 8 seconds, 7 seconds off of 2nd place right now. He's going to have to get into that 154-second lap time range, though, if he's going to catch the leaders. And meanwhile, still got a good battle going here. Prado's got his hands full. Things are happening pretty quick for him.
Yeah,
this makes it really hard to control your breathing and to keep calm out there, keep any arm pump down. makes a little mistake, Kjær Olsen's going to take advantage of that instantly.
Yeah, big muscular Dane, Thomas Kjær Olsen, just uses that strength and asserts his authority on the young Spaniard who's just finished school for the summer, has just completed his exams, so juggling the two, school and racing, and getting education just there from number 19, Thomas Kjær Olsen. But he now moves into 5th place. A little bit further down, we've got Julian Lieber just behind these guys. So Prado 6th, Lieber 7th, Watson on the Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM. He's in 8th. Another good start for the young Brit. Rodriguez, what a great ride he's having in 9th. He said on our studio show on MXGP TV yesterday, which you can catch on our MXGP Facebook page, and he was saying that, you know, he knows that with a good start, he can make it happen. That's exactly what he's doing now. Right, here's Prado and Thomas Kjær Olsen.
Yeah, so the lap before, it was Prado that gets sideways. This time, it was Kjær Olsen that gets sideways on some of those rocks, some of those marbles up there. You get hard on the throttle, and Prado had to back out of it just a little bit. Now, he's been able to keep the wheel of Kjær Olsen here as Prado's dropped back after starting second, I believe, second or third.
Just at the top of the shot, actually, Anthony Rodriguez, he's just behind Ben Watson. Does seem to be making a little bit of progress. Watson set his own fastest lap of the race last time around at 55.7, which is not too shabby.
Well, and as our lead top 10 here comes past the finish line, remember I said for Seawer, he really needs to get in the 154 second lap time range. He just went at 154.4. Now, Covington went quickest, 154.2, Jonas 154.5, but at least Seawer, even though he's 9 seconds off the lead, he can run that pace, but now he's going to have to figure out a way to start to close that gap up.
Ooh, mistake there from Prado. Just had to check up, ran wide, got on the brakes, turned it sharp, and Lieber was right there to pick up the pieces. And there's Watson in the background as well, the 919. So the young Englishman there getting another great start, and Lieber still hasn't completed that pass on Prado. Prado still making him work for it. Tries to cut it back to the inside, will get good drive downhill. Might try to cut back again at the top of the hill here. Does just that, but look at the loose rocks. He makes it work for him, though. Good bit of riding there from Prado. Takes away that 6th position back from Julian Lieber.
Uh-oh.
Then he realizes he's...
that was close.
Yeah, very short there, and Lieber just running him wide.
Yeah, well, Lieber also, he just whipped that KTM right into him. Uh-oh. He about got that all wrong.
Yeah, twice.
Nice save. But that was close. Prado had to just totally pull up on that step-up tabletop there. He had to pull the front wheel up as Lieber's rear wheel was just basically right in his face.
Brian Boger's here, and Thomas Kjær Olsen fighting over 4th place. Seawer has gapped these guys now in 3rd place. We're waiting for him to come through. The leaders over the line, Thomas Covington, Paul Jonas, 2.3 seconds apart. So 1/10 gain there for the American. Seawer, a 54.2. So he was the fastest rider on track out of the trio of riders. 54.2 compared to the 54.8 and 9 of Covington and Jonas. So between the top 3 guys, Seawer now just starting to chip away at the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna and a Red Bull KTM ahead of him. And we know that he's a strong rider, he's fit, he's confident, but can't afford to give up 7 or 8 seconds at the start of a race to the likes of Covington and Jonas, especially Covington, Jeff, because, you know, he's shown all weekend long that he is definitely at one with this circuit here in Agata.
Yeah, he seems totally comfortable. Now, when the track is starting to dry out, like this section right here, right? We talked about it a bit yesterday in the qualifying races as we look at Bogers and Kjær Olsen. To me, this soil looks like it's got some decomposed granite in it and some rock, obviously, you can see, which is very common in Southern California, where Thomas Covington would have grown up.
Thomas Kjær Olsen takes a short route through that top corner on the infield part of the racetrack, turn 7, finds his way past the HSF Logistics KTM, and Brian Bogers goes 4th.
And for sure, for Thomas Covington, having the familiarity with the soil is something that is working to his advantage. Obviously, the team's been working hard, and Jackie Martins and everybody at Rockstar Husqvarna, the MX2 team, have been putting together a great program because Kier Olsen has been strong today. Conrad Muse qualified 10th, the 10th quickest earlier today. Muse is up to 15th right now, but 3 riders inside the top 15.
Look at Watson down the inside of Lieber. He's found his way past Prado and Lieber and has taken 2 places in the space of a lap. So Watson, now goes around in 6th place on that Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM. Great ride for the young Brit. He had a good ride in qualifying last week. 4th in Italy at Lombardia did Ben Watson, but went down on the start straight in Moto number 1 and responded with a 8th place in Moto number 2. But here he is, just there in 6th place.
Yeah.
And what was his time? A 54.8 compared to a 57.7 of Brian Boger's. Is top 5 possible for the young Brit?
Yeah, and I got a chance to spend some time with Ben Watson here these last couple of weekends. Really, really nice kid. Just you know, excited about what he's doing with his racing right now. He's obviously putting out a big effort, and he's a great talent out there for England.
Yeah, there's a gap between 1st and 2nd briefly, about 2.4 seconds. Covington in white at the bottom of the hill here, and Jonas there hitting the Monster Energy jump right now. But what a great ride this is from Thomas Covington. Haven't seen too much of him up front. One kind of a lonely-ish ride for him. There he is across the waves at the top of your screen. Here's Jonas still trying to give chase.
Yeah, Covington's only got 1 moto win, and that came at round 4 in Mexico.
2.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 moto wins. He had a win in Germany in the 2nd moto there. That 4th and the 1st in Mexico gave him the overall. So it's his only overall this season, but he sets way back in points, 191 points down. So massive difference that way. So for Covington right now,
yeah, 67 off the lead.
I'm sorry, red light, scoring wrong. Yeah, so 67 points down, which is quite a bit of points. But at this point in the championship, if Covington can get out there and start winning motos, put some pressure on Jonas here. Jonas slips up a little bit. Obviously, Seawer, Olsen, Lieber, Paturel are in between them, but things can dramatically turn. It just has to do with winning.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't worry about points, let us worry about that. Let the fans worry about that. Let the team worry about that. If you're the rider, if you can come to the race and think about nothing but the next ride in front of you, whether it's qualifying, whether it's warm-up. Right now, it's Moto 1. After you do this, you think about Moto 2. You don't think about the points. If you can focus on that and just worry about winning, right? Just focus on winning. All of a sudden, you can find yourself closing up a points gap, even if it's 67 points at just past the halfway point, and have a shot at looking at the title.
Covington is being caught, though. He's 1.8 clear now of Jonas. Seawer, a 54.0, again the fastest of the top 3 riders. So 6 seconds now, the gap between him and Jonas. He'll pop up over that tabletop there, and he'll see the guys going ahead of him just on the wave section. So 2 things at play here, Jeff. Covington's lead is starting to shrink, and Seawer closing in on both of them.
But Covington just set the fastest time in section 2, fastest time of the moto so far. So let's see if that translates into a better time. Covington had that 155 last time around. Needs to be in 154s to keep that lead in place.
That gap is coming down between those 2, but at the same time, there's Thomas Kier Olsen still hanging on to 4th place. Boger's 2nd bike in white, doing his best to get back on terms and get himself into 4th place. But fantastic ride for Watson, as we said. He's 6th, Lieber 7th. Prado is now faded to 10th place because Rodriguez 8th. Benoit Paturel now in 9th place. Then Benoit Paturel's teammate Van Donnick is in 10th. But look at this gap here, just over a second. Has Thomas Covington gone too early here, Jeff, and laid down those laps too early in the beginning, or is it just 1 or 2 little mistakes starting to creep in here?
Not sure. We're going to find out here as we get a good look at him.
One thing is for sure,
the line choice that these 2 riders have.
One thing is for sure, Jonas is right there, and he's homed in on the 64. And he's not going to let this opportunity pass him by if there is a chance to wrestle 25 points back from Covington.
Well, and this is kind of a flip-flop of what happened yesterday, where Covington, I'd say in the qualifying race, where Covington was out there stalking Jonas, who had a nice, comfortable lead. Now the dynamics have changed, and it's a very uncomfortable position to be in when you're out front, and you know the guy behind you is quicker. He sees everything that's happening. He sees your intensity. Watch, he's going to jump it inside and just block him out. Oh, Covington stays on the throttle on the outside and keeps the lead. Look at this line, though. Jonas is working hard for it.
Oh, Covington there. Close the door, then Jonas switches to the inside. Slower through there because you've got the momentum around the outside of that bottom corner. That long sweeping turn 12 that takes you back up into the fan zone here.
Oh, here it is. Jonas going to go in and... Oh, Covington stays on it. It's going to be a drag race here through the mechanics area.
Factory Husqvarna versus Factory KTM. Both bikes out of Austria, and it's Jonas, but then it's Covington.
Wow. Covington riding extremely strong here, being stingy with that lead. And that's a lot of confidence. He's not going to give this lead up easy, right? He's fighting for it.
He knows Jonas is there on the outside. This is where he passed him in the qualifying race yesterday. Goes defensive. Little tap there from the back end of the Husky. And all the while, this is playing into the hands of Jeremy Seewer. Lap ago, it was 7.4, the gap between first and third. It's now 6.7. So while these two are out front just messing with each other and tripping each other up, Jeremy Seewer has just chipping away again, although Jonas was 2/10 quicker that time around. We're talking about the gap between first and third, not second and third.
Yeah, and for the first time in this moto, two riders have gone into the 1:53.2 lap time range. Jonas 1:53.7, Seewer 1:53.9, which was about a half a second or almost a full second faster than Covington. Watch Jonas square him up, get on the brakes and go to the inside. Oh, Covington blocking that line by just millimeters.
I think there was some rubber on rubber there, but one thing's for sure, Covington knows he's got his work cut out here. But he's just got his head down. He's just trying to stay ahead of Jonas.
Okay, now watch the different momentum that they have exiting the turn. Jonas has a lot of speed on the outside. It's going to work for him this time.
But then the commands are, and he closed the door just like Covington did, who makes a mistake on the downside. All of a sudden, he is on the,
he instantly pulls a couple of bike links there as Covington made a small mistake. Really strong rides out of Paul Jonas on that Red Bull KTM. It is no wonder. He says no friends there on his pit board.
That's all right. He's with a trainer, Mark DeRuvo, who doesn't have many friends himself.
Oh, have you met the guy?
Oh, yeah, I met the guy.
I'm kidding.
So, Jonas leads 2.3 clear in the space of a lap. That was a good lap.
You were talking about DeRuvo there, right?
No, not DeRuvo.
Okay.
No. He's going to come knocking later, don't worry. So Jonas leads. That's his protege. That's his the boy that he looks after here, number 41. It's having a great season under the watchful eye of the former Grand Prix winner, Mark DeRuvo. So Jonas, head down.
And it's great for Jonas to have the guidance of a guy like Mark DeRuvo has that experience, and it's always great when as a rider that you find a chemistry with a former racer like that can help bring that experience and help build your confidence, because right now it's working.
There's the yellow flash of Jeremy Seewer. You can see both guys ahead of him, 5.4, the gap between first and third. Almost lost the front there as he landed in a soft patch. Seewer, but he's got Covington right here ahead of him, 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go or thereabouts. But a 53.9, so he's also in the 53s. Only 2 riders have hit the 53. Jonas with the fastest lap of the race on a lap 9, a 53.7. 2 laps later, last time around, it was Seewer, just 2/10 off that fastest lap of the race, a 53.910. Covington, by comparison, was a 54.2, Jeff. So here's Covington.
Oh, that was close. They touch right there. I mean, Jonas was just all over him at this point. Here's where he finally makes the pass on Covington. He makes a couple little bobbles there, and the good thing for Jonas is it gives him a little bit of breathing room, right? And now he's just out there riding his race. It's probably going to be about 2 or 3 second gap as it was last time around, maybe 3.
There's a danger man at the top of your screen being hurled on by these guys at Suzuki World MX2. Jeremy Seewer, Olsen 4. Watson is now up to 5th. He's found his way past Brian Bogus on this occasion. So all of a sudden, looking at a top 5 finish is Ben Watson in this first moto.
Wow, what an incredible effort out of Ben Watson.
Got a 7th in race 2 in Russia in the mud.
Hitachi KTM UK.
Yeah, but Siwa 4 seconds down on Covington as he came over the line. There he is at the top of the hill through that bold turn, that bank sweep right-hander.
Siwa actually lost a little bit of time that time around. All of our leaders were in the 1:54-second lap time range, but Jonas out front was a 0.2, Covington a 0.7, and Siwa a 0.9. So lost about 3/4 of a second off the lead that time. Siwa did.
Possible response then from Covington as he realizes the threat from behind. Jeremy Siwa. Thomas Kjær Olsen, wow, he's a massive margin, 21 seconds down on the top 3 here. Watson is only 4 seconds behind Thomas Kjær Olsen, lapping very, very similar. We're talking hundredths of a second, not even, you know, major margins there between those two in 4th and 5th. Thomas Kjær Olsen and Ben Watson. Boger's kind of seems to have hit the wall, but behind him is Benoit Paturel, who's now 8th, is the fastest of the next 4 or 5 guys. And he has about 4 seconds to make up to Julian Lieber, which, given a lap or so, he will be on him because he was a 55.7 last time around. Benoit Paturel in 8th. Julian Lieber was a 57.4. So Paturel from the outside of the gate, trying to limit the damage here and try and pick up as many points as possible.
Yeah, it's pretty strong ride to be up to 8th at this point, and also Watson, who sits in 5th. He's another one of the riders that's worked his way through the pack.
Just looking at our screen here, Prado down from 14th, looking like he's going to drop out of the points because Osland has gone through to 14th.
Uh-oh, somebody's off the track.
Yeah, Chervelin 15, Vassen 16, Muse now 17, Prado in 18th place. Is this Paturel? Yeah. So Paturel in 6th. And he's got Bogers right there, the 189. So Lieber goes through in 5th. He's found his way past Watson. So Watson now in 6th. Bogus 7. Paturel just there in 8th on the Khmer Yamaha. So looking at picking up another couple places here. There's the Frenchman and the guy who finished 3rd in the World Championship last year. It's just been one of those seasons for him. Oh, Bogus gets good drive from out of nowhere alongside Watson. That was pretty close as they came into land. I think we're in a territory here where Watson maybe just starting to fade a little bit. His fitness has got better, has got stronger as the year has gone on. And the more you're racing at this level, Jeff, in this kind of company, this intensity, the more that fitness does improve. But it's, you know, can only be good for Ben Watson here, being in the, you know, in the position that he is in. Even if he goes back a position now and drops to 7th or 8th, you know, it's still a big learning curve for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and the pressure that Paturel is going to put on is going to be hard for Watson to fight off. He's been so strong this weekend right there.
Yeah.
This makes it look easy.
Yeah, he knew that pass was coming as well. Obviously, he just said, you know what, you can have it. These are good points for me in my championship. So Paturel goes after Bogus then. He's in 7th. Watson now in 8th. Rodriguez about 5 seconds further back. Great ride actually for Anthony Rodriguez because his teammate Michele Chervelin, those two were both inside the top 10 on the opening lap, and Chervelin's obviously made a mistake. He's down in 15th, the lead HRC MX2 rider. You never know, we might see him in Lockheed, even though yesterday on the studio show he said Anthony Rodriguez, yeah, it's just a 2-race deal. I will not be in Lockheed, but this kind of performance, you never know, Jeff.
Yeah, especially if we can have a couple of rides inside the top 10, that would be definitely impressive if I was a team owner.
3 laps to go, and Jonas now 3.1 seconds clear of Covington, who was 2/10 quicker than the race leader. Siwa 3rd. Again, that's all pretty stabilized, but Paturel off the top of that hill there, jumping past the braking bumps, dropping into the penultimate corner, turn 18, and then down here into turn 1. He's done well to get onto the rear wheel of Bogus, who goes tight and defensive. Paturel chasing the dirt around the outside. Been a hard graft for number 6 just to get on point and get on terms with these guys after his horrendous start. He was outside of the top 20. You know, it's like, Jeff, the further up the field you get, the more spread out the competition becomes, the harder it is to close them down, because more often than not, you're up against the quicker guys, huh?
I didn't get too many bad starts.
No. Jeff Holshop.
Yeah, I much prefer to start up front. And unfortunately, just in these last couple of weeks, it's really apparent that that is the part of Benoit Paturel's program that just seems to suffer. It just seems like he's always riding from the back of the pack. He's one of those guys that he's got tons of speed, fitness. I mean, he's a complete animal on the bike at times. But you can see by where these two riders started, that they put themselves in the best position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Seaward had his work cut out for him, but Jonas here on the right, Covington in the middle. They started up front, and they've been running up front. And so that's, you know, it's interesting when you think about, you know, engine spec and engine setup, and even chassis and suspension setup. To me, it all began with practicing starts, right, and testing starts.
Seaward has been chipping away, and he's now got himself right on the rear wheel of the 64 of Thomas Covington, the early race leader. But these two now 3.5 seconds down on Paul's Jonas. Fastest lap for Seaward that time around, the fastest lap of the race, a 53.615 on lap 15. And you can see how that has translated into forward momentum. He's got himself right there. Just look, just at the top of the screen, the Red Bull KTM of 41, Paul's Jonas. He is not that far away. But, as is always the case, when you make a bad start, just leaving it too late. Jeremy Seaward.
Yeah, Seaward has also set the fastest time in section 1. Now Covington just sets the response and sets the fastest time in section 2.
Oh, slight bobble there from Seaward. Tried to get on the gas a little bit too early. Wasn't quite set up enough for it. Definitely got some good lines though, Seaward. Just after the finish line area is one of them where he's hard on the brakes. Very similar to what Benoit Paturel is doing, who's circulating in 7th now.
You know, Covington has done a good job, even though he gave up the lead and he's 3 seconds off the lead right now. He's done a good job of fighting back and not just folding like a cheap suit, you know? Like, he really has held his composure, and this is probably a bit frustrating for him because, you know, here we go into the last lap, because Covington probably at one point felt like he had this moto in hand and he was going to be able to win this. And so to stay mentally tough right here
is where he was quick earlier. Runs Covington wide, but he's been jumping a little bit further down there. He was fast here a lap ago, and he gets good drive. Possible pass at the end of the straight here. Might cut back to the inside, or no. Covington reads it well. Has to go even tighter. Seaward. It's difficult there as well because you cannot see how tight that angle is, and then he makes it pass. Makes the pass stick at the top of the hill, turn 2. Gets himself into 2nd. Wow, great bit of riding there from Jeremy Seaward, but 4 seconds down on Jonas at the start of this lap.
Right here. Oh, he just clipped the top right there.
Wow, these two are definitely charging right to the very, very end here. So too is Jonas. He's not been able to, he's not been afforded the luxury of backing off. Covington spitting feathers here as the fact that he's just lost 2nd at the start of this final lap, going back after Seaward. These two might just find themselves onto the rear wheel of Jonas if he's not careful. As we said, he can't afford to relax on that Red Bull KTM. He's just out of range at the moment, but a slight mistake could change it. Oh, Covington jumps long.
Not enough. Not close enough.
Hard fight, though, through the field for Jeremy Seaward to salvage 2nd position here. What looks like to be 2nd position, but it's going to be 3 more points lost to his championship rival, Jonas, at the top of the hill.
Jonas made a little mistake that allowed Covington to close up, but Covington going for it on the inside, last-ditch effort. 2 corners to go. Jonas on the pegs here. There's Seaward and Covington in the background. Might just need to see if we can keep a camera on this here, but there's Jonas. He will win Moto number 1 here in Portugal. But number 2 in 2nd, it's Seaward, and then Covington 3rd, about a full 2nd further back. But what an MX2 race there, Jeff Emig, and a win for Paul's Jonas. 25 points on the board for the Latvian. Wow, these 3 put on such an epic ride. Look at that. Love to see this sportsmanship. No doubt they're a little bit tired after that one. Going to have to go back and get cooled off. Get ready for Moto 2 as we see Thomas Kjær Olsen, the next rider He comes by in 4th, but the problem is he was 34 seconds off.
Yeah, 32 off of Covington as well. So, wow. Yeah, not expecting that, but there's Bogus going through. So, Jonas, Seewer, Covington, Olsen, and Lieber. Here's your winner, Jonas, with Lisa.
Paul's Jonas, congratulations, 11th moto win, but Covington didn't make it easy for you to make that pass.
Yeah, you know, first of all, we got a really good start together with Thomas Covington, and yeah, we battled it out in the first few laps, you know, actually all mono, and I think it was really nice for spectators to see the battle, and you know, the track is really difficult, you know, also now it's getting a little bit more warm, so I think it's going to be tough for the second moto, but yeah, we'll get ready and hopefully do the same in the second moto.
Okay, good luck for the second race, thank you.
Gave himself every opportunity, did Paul Jonas. Great start. Always there or thereabouts in the top 3 or 4 positions as Thomas Covington started to disappear at the head of the field, but then it wasn't long before he found his way onto the rear wheel of Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. And before long, lap 11 of, how many laps? 17. So after the halfway mark was when the pass happened to get Jonas into the lead. He went on to win the race as well. 11 wins now for the season for the number 41, Paul Jonas, who falls 41 points clear of Jeremy Seewer. Official confirmation coming up then for MX2 Race 1. Just hear the machines going out on track, just tidying up the first turn and 1 or 2 little areas. But Paul Jonas, your race winner by 1.7 seconds in the end then on the Red Bull KTM. Seewer's MX2, Suzuki Watt MX2 machine was second. Covington Rockstar Energy Husqvarna was third ahead of his teammate Thomas Kjær Olsen. Julian Lieber, LRT KTM. Benoit Paturel on the Khmer Yamaha. Brian Bogus, HSF Logistics KTM. Watson, Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM 8th. And Donick 9, Anthony Rodriguez 10 for HRC MX2. The Ottaviano Husqvarna of Ika Larinaga was next, and F&H Racing, Hoberto, Jacobi, Austin, Churlin, Vaseline, Muse, Rubini, Lars van Berkel, and Mika de Waal. Fascinating race, that one, Jeff. We'll see the highlights in a moment, of course. And in fact, we'll talk through them now, but a lot of it determined by the start, as always.
Yeah, it certainly made life easy for Jonas and Covington, and Seewer is the one that really had to battle through the pack. It was about 7th or so, I'd say, off the start, somewhere around in there. Pretty good effort. Seewer starts up front. He could win this second moto and win the overall too here coming up later on.
Well, they're having a great time. Temperatures into the 30s, not a cloud in the sky. Great racetrack, great crowd here as well. Here's what happened in MX2. Gate dropped, and Watson up on the pegs from about gate 7 or 8. Put himself in a great position, but ran the outside. Let's see who got the Foxhole shot there, because it was either Covington or Prado. Either way, Jonas here, look, up into the 3rd from about 5th, almost immediately up into turn 5. Quickly went after his teammate to get himself in the 2nd and set up that fight with Thomas Covington.
Good move right here.
Yeah, Bogus going past Prado as he started to fade back a little bit and eventually out of the points, Prado. Seewer was the rider who was on the charge. Found his way past Prado, got himself onto Brian Bogus, made the pass stick at the top of the hill here. And then from there, I think he had clear track, didn't he? He was in 3rd at that point. Went after the 2 leaders ahead of him. Thomas Kjær Olsen and Brian Bogus also having their battles. And what a great ride from Ben Watson, 9.19. Parked it down the inside of Julian Lieber. That put him up into 5th place, I think, at the time.
Good look here at Jonas trying to go around the outside of Covington. Makes that pass for the lead. And watch, Covington makes a little mistake right here. And that's going to give Jonas a little breathing room to where he can just get out there and ride his race. And meanwhile, Seewer finds a little opening, goes by Covington for 2nd.
Those two continued to go at it, but it was Jonas who was victorious from Seewer, Covington, Olsen, and Lieber, your top 5 in MX2 Race 1. Some of the best moments coming up then from MX2 race 1 in just a moment. But the foxhole shot, though, before that, couldn't quite see from our angle. Be interesting to see who it goes to.
It was close.
Righto. 10 now for the young Spaniard. Well, he's making that black plate his own, isn't he? Well, his teammate's 2 behind him. Then Covington is next on 2. 18 foxhole shots now Red Bull KTM have amongst themselves. 19 in total for KTM riders, with Davy Puches picking up 1 in Indonesia as well. Right, some of the best moments then from MX2 race 1 coming up next. Right, that's all we've got time for MX2. Join us in just a few moments. When we return, it'll be for MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then.